Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another weekly forecast and review. My name's Dion, and today I'm going in depth with the Aussie dollar. I'm going to be using the dollar index as an added confluence to how I review and analyze pretty much how I base my trades off the Aussie dollar, because they both have some they're inversely correlated, and you can really use the dollar index to help you out with trading the Aussie dollar. I'll go into that a little bit later. But to start off with, what happened last week? Pretty much if you watch my last weekly forecast and review, where this vertical line is, that's where the week started. So where the week ended last week, I was saying that, hey, price is around here, but I do feel like price can come down to the 0.77, gain some strength, and then make a strong push upwards. Now, you can see it on the screen. That is exactly what happened. Price did make its way down exactly to the 0.77, boom, just touched it there with that candle, and there's a strong, very strong bullish push all the way up to some previous highs up here, in between the 0.784 and the 0.782. Now there were some good trading opportunities around here. First of all, as I said, price was probably going to find some liquidity and some strength at the 0.77. And then it's like, okay, well, when it does find that strength and it makes its push up, what are some confluences I can look for? One of them being the trend line, and I love trading trend lines like this. You know, it can't break through the main level, finding strength, push up, break above that that trend line, strong move up. So after price did make its strong bullish movement up, it did actually break on the smaller time frames, the weekly key level. Now it was stopped out here, which is just above the weekly key level again, before making its way back in. Price did not have enough strength to stay above that weekly key level. So what I believe is that price is making its way down, trying to find more strength. And if the market is still bullish, it's going to try and crack it again, but we'll see what happens. That's when the dollar index comes handy, because if we suss the dollar index and how that's playing out, it can give us some clues as to how the Aussie dollar is going to move. For example, here I have the dollar index on the 4-hour time frame, and we can see here that the dollar index clearly rejected the 92 level, which has, you can see it over the past couple days or whatever. Price is having troubles cracking above it. Now, this strong bearish move is directly correlated to that massive bullish push that we saw on the Aussie dollar. So for the Aussie dollar, price was forming that head and shoulders pattern, right? So there was a left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. Where the right shoulder is formed, that's where I drew the trend line, where price broke above and pushed up. Now with the dollar index, it's a different case. There was no head and shoulders pattern. The way I saw this was just a key level acting as a resistance, and price couldn't break above it. So it lost its strength, lost its momentum. Now there is a trend line here, which it broke through and made that huge drop down. You can see side by side that they are directly correlated, just inversely. I'll show that when I split my screen. So now I have both charts side by side. They're both on the 4-hour time frame. You can see on the Aussie dollar, this, where it touched the 0.77, that is what confirmed the right shoulder. The right shoulder was fully formed once it touched 0.77, and it started making bullish movements, cracked that trend line, this one here, and made its way up. Now, moving over to the dollar index, instead of the head and shoulders pattern being formed, you could see that price was having struggles breaking above that 91.9 area. Strong resistance being formed, not enough strength to break through that ceiling, so price started making its way down. It broke through this trend line here and dropped right through. Now, the dollar index found its footing in the form of a double bottom here at the support, whereas the Aussie dollar found its footing, or it got stopped here at the resistance, forming like a double top. On the higher time frames, it's a little bit more apparent, as you can see here, and on this one here. But now, what was I saying earlier about using the dollar index to help spot moves and trades on the Aussie dollar? Here you can see the dollar index strongly rejected this key level, 92. It's rejected it for multiple days now. As you can see, it just cannot break above that area. Now, price does look like it's consolidating, which it is, but this candle is giving me a few clues, and I'll explain why. So I'm moving back down into the smaller time frames because it's a little bit easier to see it. Here I'm on the 2 hour on both charts, Aussie dollar on the left, the dollar index on the right. Because price couldn't break above this area, you know, generally in consolidation, price is ranging. It's going from the support to resistance, support to resistance. It's going ranging like that. That's just how the market moves. That's the nature of the market, and that's price structure. So we saw a strong rejection to the resistance here. So what could we see, or what could, what's the probability that price is just gonna make its way back down, find strength at the support before trying to go up higher? It's a high probability. Just as you saw here with the Aussie dollar, it came down to the key level to find strength to push back up. But the question is, where is it gonna find strength? I can already see here that there could be a support being here. Price might find strength here before pushing up, and in turn with that, it will push the Aussie dollar down. But if price wants to find the strength at the next key level, which is the main support, price has to drop a considerable amount. So if the dollar index has to drop, what that's going to do is it's going to push the Aussie dollar up. Now, the Aussie dollar has already seemed to form a small support here. So now the probability is a little bit different. It might not need to continue dropping down to the 0.77 to push up. It could just push up from here. Now, what that is saying on the dollar index, like if the Aussie dollar is pushing up from here, then what that means is the dollar index is just going to continue melting. So depending on how the dollar index reacts to this potential support here, like if it touches this support and shows me strong rejections to the upside, then what we could assume here is that price is going to melt down back to the 0.77. So the way I've been trading is I keep these two pairs in mind at all times, and I'm really just going back and forth between them. If I don't see any clear signs on AU, then I go over to the dollar index, because the dollar index can give me clues as to where the Aussie dollar will move. So with that being said, what do I feel like is going to happen next week? Well, like I said, price is consolidating. If I get rid of this thing here and go into the weekly, you can see the weekly candle is just stuck between these levels. Wicks to the upside, wicks to the downside, and it's just stuck. It's in the middle. I know from experience that this is not a good area to trade because price is ranging. It's just not good. So I've made enough mistakes when price is in this area to know that, hey, I should not trade this. I would rather wait for either a rejection or a break of the key levels. So yeah, that pretty much sums up what I'm going to be waiting for next week. Is price going to treat this area as a support? Is it going to come up and test for this weekly key area again? And if it does, how is it going to react to that? Or is price going to make its way back down and then react to the 7.7? How is it going to react to the 0.77? I'm not going to be doing anything until I see how price reacts to the key levels. It's too dangerous to trade right now while price is in between the key levels and it's consolidating. I just don't like to trade that. Some people might, but personally, this is where I've made the most losses. So I'm just going to avoid it completely and wait for price to play out and see how it reacts to the key levels. So that's it for my weekly forecast and review. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys have learned something. I've decided deliberately not to include AUD, JPY, and Bitcoin in this video. First of all, because I wasn't actually using AUD, JPY this week for my analysis or anything, and I'm only bringing to you guys, like, this is a documentation. This is how I trade and analyze. I'm only going to show you how I do it. I'm not going to be adding in what I didn't use. Now with Bitcoin, there's a lot I can talk about with Bitcoin, and I feel like if I do want to start doing weekly forecasts and reviews of it, I would rather make a separate episode just for Bitcoin. So if you would like to see more cryptocurrency based stuff, if you would like me to include Bitcoin weekly forecasts and reviews on my channel, just let me know, comment below or something, and I will start doing it. Now, I do look at Bitcoin a little bit, not here and there, not too much, not as much as I look at these charts, but I do analyze the charts. But I'm mainly, this is a Forex channel, but I am heavily involved with crypto as well. So I feel like I will be incorporating some crypto videos on the channel. If you would like to see that happen, then yeah, let me know in the comments below. If there's a certain topic about cryptocurrency, blockchain, whatever you would like me to cover, specify it and I can go into it if it's within my scope of knowledge. Anyways, that's it for the episode, as I've said. I hope it's brought you some value. I do this every single week, so if you would like to continue watching the Aussie dollar weekly forecasts and reviews along with a whole bunch of other videos, then click subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.